On today's show, we discuss the Utah Jazz apparently willing to blow it all up should the Sixers go after some of their key role players, or more importantly, Donovan Mitchell. We will break it all down on today's show. Let's go. Perfect. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome into Philly Take with RB. Like always, if you do enjoy this content, feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos or live streams. Today, we are back, and there are a lot of NBA rumors swirling around as per usual this time of year. And of course, the Sixers getting roped into discussions, and we will talk about it all. But we start today with my guy, JJ Redick. Shout out to him. Very much appreciated here in Philadelphia, both on the floor, off the floor. Very professional. Always, enjoyed watching him play. And he's doing a heck of a job in the booth and on TV. So shout out to JJ Redick. Last night, while commentating a Summer League game, he said, despite their radio media, Philadelphia is the best sports town in the country. Shout out to JJ, man. Showing some props, man. And I just appreciate him always keeping it real and giving his thoughts, man. He'll probably get a lot of lash for that take, but that's just who JJ is, man. He speaks his mind, and just a great guy, man. Shout out to him. But today, getting into the cream of the crop, that is right. Things started going haywire yesterday. Adrian Wojnarowski putting out this tweet last night. He says, after previously shutting down inquiries on moving all-star guard Donovan Mitchell, rival teams say the Utah Jazz are showing a willingness to listen on possible trade scenarios. Obviously, after trading a guy like Rudy Gobert, the real question for the Jazz, who now have 5 additional first-round picks, is, do we want to blow this up? Do we want to stack all of our assets and try to rekindle this thing because, they've hit that threshold, kind of like the Sixers have in the last couple years. They have not been able to get over the hump. They decided to go out and trade Rudy Gobert. It would not surprise me if they do build around Donovan Mitchell, given the fact he's still a young cornerstone. But there are a lot of talks going on. And last night, D Wade, a video comes out of him saying that he would, try to get Donovan Mitchell to the Miami Heat. A fan asked him, and he said, yeah, which is funny because D Wade is a part owner of the Utah Jazz, obviously a legend for the Heat. So, the league wants to apparently investigate the Sixers. Well, they may need to start looking at all the other teams. But anyway, different topic for a different day. So back on track here. Donovan Mitchell apparently available to be had. And, well, the Sixers Nation started chatting it up. Donovan Mitchell, a name like Tyrese Maxey, has been linked before. Nothing, too extraordinary, but obviously Mitchell would have a lot of suitors. And then the main question that came about is, would you trade for Donovan Mitchell if you're a Sixers fan? Well, here's a tweet that I put out last night regarding this. And I'm here to tell you right now, when you look at who's on this team, when you look at the situation, the Utah Jazz are trying to get younger. If they do blow it up with Donovan Mitchell, they're obviously going into a full rebuild. They would want a young cornerstone to build around in addition to draft capital. And Tyrese Maxey would be the forefront of the trade. I'm telling you right now. Here's a tweet I put out last night. And I said the Jazz would absolutely ask for Maxey, and I don't think I would do it. Now, this tweet sent people all over the place, tons of replies. And honestly, there was almost a split. There were people that were telling me I was crazy. And, oh, why would you not trade for Donovan Mitchell, a 24-year-old who can average 25 a game and can lead his team and this and that. And then there were the other people who look at Tyrese Maxey and view his potential and say, nah, I think Maxey can really step up and be that guy. I want to say this. I don't hate Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a very stellar player. I think he's going to be really, really good. The thing where it comes in for me, and again, I wouldn't be mad if the Sixers trade for Donovan Mitchell. If we do give up a piece like Maxey, yes, it would hurt. It definitely would. And I'm not opposed to anything. I don't want to keep the blinders on like we've done in the past, right? This fan base with different players, right? I don't want to overrate guys. But when I look at Tyrese Maxey, he checks off every box, okay? 21 years old. He became the third best three-point shooter in the league. He's already developing as a defender, right? He can put the ball on the floor, can play to 1, can play to 2, on the ball, off the ball, seems to have the intangibles and seems to have the energy that not many in this city do. In fact, resembles an old point guard named Allen Iverson. And, not a lot of people can make that connection, right? Tyrese Maxey, in just a couple years, the way he has improved from his first season to the next, going from just getting some scratch minutes off the bench, right? Just coming in, being tight, kind of like a 7th, 8th man, going to starting in his first season around all this drama. And he goes out and almost increases his point differential by 10 points. He almost averaged 10 more points per game this year. And that's really as a 3rd, 4th option. So there's really a lot that goes into this to break it down. Tyrese Maxey, to me, has superstar potential. I think he started to make his name known out there last year, and I think he, in a couple years can be really, really good. I think he has that superstar potential to his name, and he's already shown it. If you've been seeing the pictures of him, he's getting bigger, stronger. He's working on every little trick in his bag, the little mid shimmies, turnarounds, the fades, putting it on the floor, getting to every spot on the floor. I mean, this kid might be able to shoot from anywhere this year consistently. And if he makes another jump like he did this year, I think he's going to be fantastic. He might even be an all-star this year. But anyway, I put out a poll on Instagram, and here are the results. 70% say no, they would not trade Tyrese Maxey in a trade for Donovan Mitchell. 30% say yes. So people leaning more towards my side on Instagram. Here's some stats to back this up, by the way. Shout out to Austin Krell. Just adding to the conversation. So far into their careers, Tyrese Maxey better in terms of shooting percentage from 2 and 3, effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage. Donovan Mitchell has a higher 3-point percentage rate, free throw rate, and usage rate. So I just look at Tyrese Maxey. I feel almost that the comparison can be made. Like Tyrese Maxey may turn in to a Donovan Mitchell. The real question at stake here is, what is your window, right? How long do you have to win, and who gives you a better chance for a championship? And I think that's a tough conversation because Tyrese Maxey at age 21 made such a significant leap. Yes, he did have a couple bad games in the playoffs. He also had some really great games and showed those moments and is starting to put his name out there on the map. And in a couple years, I think, even past the prime of a guy like Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey can be your guy, right? We constantly talk about giving the keys to Tyrese Maxey. And alongside James Harden, he's been a pretty good fit. And those two are also just going to keep continuing to develop that chemistry on and off the floor. James Harden's been a great mentor for Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey has played off the ball, both in college and in the NBA, is a lot more comfortable doing that. I'm not saying Donovan Mitchell could not. And I'm not saying that I have anything against Donovan Mitchell. What I'm saying for the people that think I'm crazy is just, I think Maxey within a couple years is going to be on that top tier of NBA players. I really do. I just see every box being checked when it comes to Maxey, and he has the it factor. He wants it. He wants to get better, and he's something great to happen to this city. And, Donovan Mitchell, I mean, let's be honest. When you look at Utah, he's been around average players. Good players, average players. Has he really had another superstar to his name, right? Right next to him taking the ball. With Joel Embiid, James Harden, it would take some time to get used to. And Donovan Mitchell is being paid a lot of money, just signed a contract not too long ago, and it would take some adjustments. It really would. How would the ball work with Donovan Mitchell, James Harden? Let's not forget Joel Embiid, right? Donovan Mitchell played with a center that, essentially has no offense to his game. And, it would take a lot. Let's be honest, Rudy Gobert kind of held them back in the playoffs. And the fact that he got traded for as much as he did, the Utah Jazz are going to ask for a king's ransom, which is why I don't think this would work anyway, especially given the fact the Sixers don't have a lot of draft capital in the near future. But, again, I just think the ceiling for Maxey is great. He can do everything, and he's just fit in so well. I would actually have a hard time trading Tyrese Maxey in a Donovan Mitchell trade. There's not many players, unless they were bona fide stars that have won championships, that I would really consider throwing Maxey into a trade for, because I think he can be that player for years and years and years. Let's not forget, he is only 21 years old. He made such a significant leap. He averaged 17 and a half a game, shot over 42% from deep, and he's just only going to get better. He's not even close to his prime. So I just think, he's going to be something special. The other thing that brings us to, though, is the whole Patrick Beverley, Jordan Clarkson conversation. Like I said, Utah would probably have a fire sale, be willing to throw a lot away if they do part with Donovan Mitchell. And this is a tweet I put out. It said bringing Pat Bev or Jordan Clarkson to Philly would be the icing on the cake. I've been high on Pat Bev for years now. I think I was the first one on that boat, and for all the aforementioned reasons. Like, he's a dog. He brings energy. Don't tell me about him not being able to shoot. Look at the percentages. He can knock down. He can create. He's not going to give you 15, 20 points a game, but he will bring that energy every single night. He'd be a fan favorite in Philadelphia. Imagine Pat Bev, PJ Tucker, and Niang coming off the bench together. That would be a squad of dogs. I think, the way that Pat Bev really helped that Minnesota team, helped mentor a guy like Anthony Edwards, I think it'd be great for the squad. If you have a chance to get him, he's on a 1-year contract, $13 million, might even get bought out. Who knows? Something I would consider for sure. And then Jordan Clarkson's a guy I've also mentioned before. One of the best bench players, one of the best 6 men in the league. He won 6 Man of the Year a couple years ago. And he's just a sniper. He can put it on the floor, acrobatic finisher, can knock down from anywhere. He is a guy I know would consistently come off this bench and get us what we need. He'd be a complete change from what we have seen. If there was ever a way Daryl Morey could get Jordan Clarkson on this squad, I think it'd be game-changing. I think it would almost make us a finals contender. I'm not saying we're not now. I'm not saying we can't get there. Are we the favorite? Probably not. But Jordan Clarkson would put this team in another realm. He really would. Imagine a guy coming off the bench, essentially playing starters minutes, averaging 18, 20 a game. That would be huge for this team. And he's making about $14 million a year over the next 2 years. Start to put together a trade like a Thibault, a Furkan, put some draft assets in there. Maybe they are willing to part with Jordan Clarkson. I know we'd probably need to throw more in there, and maybe a Tobias trade would have to come along, even for another guy, right? Like a Bojan Bogdanovic. Maybe they want to part with him. So there would be more that comes along with that. But I would consider doing everything it takes to go get a guy like Jordan Clarkson. I think he would completely reshape this Sixers bench and just give us that influx of offense that we need. Just a stellar player who's been around. He's 30 years old, right? He went to the finals with that LeBron-led team, and he's just developed and really improved and settled into his role throughout his career. I really like Jordan Clarkson. Either one of them I would be very, very happy with. If Daryl Morey finds a way to make one more move, this will be an A+ off season. Honestly, I think it's around an A right now. I really do. Here's what Jake Fisher had to say regarding Pat Beverley. This was in an article that he put out. Shout out to Jake Fisher. He says, Pat Bev also appears to be a strong trade candidate. The former Timberwolves point guard has drawn interest from the Lakers and Heat. Sources told Bleacher Report Philadelphia had been mentioned as a potential Beverley suitor with his past Houston experience and the Sixers' obvious deep Rockets connections, but it seems unlikely that Bev would now be Philadelphia bound after the team acquired DeAnthony Melton on draft night. That's another thing. Morey connections with Pat Bev. This team would really like him. They really would. Don't know if we would get any of these guys, but I would definitely inquire about them. And circling it all back to Donovan Mitchell. Again, I have nothing against Mitchell. Very good player. Will probably be great. But the fact of the matter is, I think people sleep on Tyrese Maxey. I think he's going to be very, very, very good. I don't know if adding a third star, I guess, like Donovan Mitchell, a guy who's very similar to Tyrese Maxey. Maxey a little bit, a couple years behind in the development. He's going to be good, man. He's going to be good. I don't know if I would do it. And let's just be honest here. Like, it would not just be Tyrese Maxey. It would be a haul of assets in addition to Maxey. It would not be a one-on-one swap. That I would not do it. I would not do it. But at the end of the day, I hope the Sixers make the best decision for the team, find a way to get us some more help, whether that's Beverley, Clarkson. Hey, if the Jazz are going all in with this rebuild, the Sixers need to go all in, or he needs to press some buttons. Maybe it's time for us to fleece Danny Ainge. But I will leave it at that. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Give me all your thoughts down below. Thank you for tuning in. Like always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And like always, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.